Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's M2K here, coming back with another video to talk to you guys on what I think is going to be one of the most exciting times if you are an Arsenal fan. For those of you who guys don't know, that I am a big Arsenal fan. I'm born and raised in London, and I've supported the club ever since I was a little boy. My dad used to take me to the Arsenal games. But I think for the first time in a very, very long time, I've not been as excited to be an Arsenal fan ever. And I think it's fair to say that as of right now, like we are a very, very strong club, and we're fighting for a Premier League title, and we're fighting for the Champions League, and we're still in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup as well, which which is exciting. And if you guys are not an Arsenal fan, then I hope I am still able to like sort of bring you guys some fun content over the next couple of videos. But for those of you guys who are an Arsenal fan, like I think you guys can all understand that it is a very exciting time right now, especially with what we've gone through over the last 20 years. So I just want to make a video, and I just want to talk about on where I think like we have done extremely well in, especially in the transfer market within the last like 2 to 3 seasons, and where I think we can possibly improve like in the near future. So right now, Arsenal are sitting top of the league in the Premier League, and we're also, I think, in third or second after yesterday's results in the Champions League as well. So we're pushing for both Premier League and the Champions League. And I think partly the reason why we have done so well this season is because of one major signing that Arsenal did bring in. And I think because of this person, this one specific person, he has completely changed the way the club looks on potentially bringing in new recruits. And I'm talking about this man right here, Andre Berta. So we signed Andre Berta as our new sporting director in order to replace Edu Gaspar. And don't get me wrong, as an Arsenal fan, I loved Edu Gaspar as a player. He was a pretty good sporting director. I mean, he brought in some big names during his time at Arsenal, but I just don't think he was the man to take us to the next step. And I think Andre Berta did that extremely well. Um, so we signed Andre Berta this summer. And I think the difference between him and Edu Gaspar was how aggressive he was in the transfer market. He lined up his transfers, he lined up his potential Arsenal signings um, all at the same time. And then when it came to making a decision, he was aggressively approaching multiple teams in order to sign those specific players in order to get the best deal for the club. And you got to give credit where it's due, because whether you're an Arsenal fan or not, he has done fantastic bringing in the signings that Arsenal have brought in the 2025 summer. And I think it's very fair to say that he has changed the way the club has been running this season with what he's done over the last few months that he's been with Arsenal. So I want to talk about some of the players that we have brought in, because clearly we have a very good squad. And over the past 3 years, we've been building a fantastic squad. We've been building youth players who Mikel Arteta has been developing into being men. So we've got that sort of mixture between experience and youth. And I think what he has done over the last few months is he's really taken our club to the next level. So we can take a look here on who Arsenal have brought in over the last few months, especially in the summer with Andre Berta stepping in as a sporting director. And players like Piero Hincapié, who we haven't seen much as an Arsenal player, but he's currently on loan from Bayer Leverkusen. And I'm pretty confident that Arsenal will make that a permanent deal. I just think they wanted to bring him on loan in the 2025, so then they didn't have to write off that signing in the books. So it's a very smart piece of business from Andre Berta. So bringing in Hero Hincapié from Bayer Leverkusen, however, signing him in the 2026 window, just so then we don't have to sign him off this year in our books. I'm excited to see more of him play. He's played a couple of games for Arsenal so far, and he's looked aggressive, he's looked strong, he's looked fit, fast, very comfortable in the ball. But he's a good replacement for Kiwior, who left in the summer. And I think being that sort of versatile player that Mikel Arteta likes, being able to play left back, being able to play centre back, he's tall, he's physical, and obviously he is a left-footed centre back, which is kind of rare to find nowadays. So I think bringing in Hero Hincapié to replace Kiwior is an upgrade, and that's no disrespect to Kivior. I loved Kivior, but Hero Hincapie brings that youthful, young, exciting, aggressive power that you want from your centre half. Next up, one of my favorite players in the Premier League is Eberechi Eze. And Eze is someone that I have loved for the past couple of years. I've watched him. He was obviously part of the Arsenal academy when he was younger. He got released at a young age and then obviously came out recently publicly saying that he wants to rejoin Arsenal. And he was on the verge of almost signing for Tottenham, but a last-minute swoop by Andre Berta, again, by how aggressive he was, we managed to get our man. And I am thrilled that we signed Eberechi Eze because he is versatile. He is an Arsenal fanboy, which you love. I mean, automatically that brings passion to the team. It brings commitment. It brings everything you want in a player. And he has been pretty good so far. I mean, the goals and assists will come for Eberechi Eze. We're still early in the season. He's still early into his Arsenal career. But having Odegaard be out for the next couple of months with a knee injury is a perfect opportunity for me to see what Eberechi Eze can bring to this Arsenal squad. And like I said, he is versatile. He can play left wing and cut inside, which is what he likes to do best. Or he can sit in that sort of Odegaard role where he's dictating play. He can come deep, collect the ball, and then obviously be that advanced playmaker for the Arsenal squad to feed in Saka, Gyökeres, and Martinelli, or Trossard, or whoever's playing out on the white. So Eberechi Eze, one of my favorite players. I'm so glad Arsenal made this happen. Moving on to Gyökeres. Now, considering Arsenal have been needing a striker for the past couple of years, we haven't really had an out-and-out striker since Aubameyang. And yes, some can argue, can say that Gabriel Jesus was that guy to replace Aubameyang. Obviously, injuries set him back, and unfortunately for him, I don't think he has a future in this Arsenal team. He gave us a good season. He was obviously a fantastic player for Man City, and when we signed him, we thought he was going to be this experienced Premier League winner who's going to completely revive our attack. But with Gabriel Jesus, he has been suffered with a lot of injuries, and it just hasn't really worked out for him during his Arsenal career. And then obviously we signed Kai Havertz from Chelsea, and ideally we signed him as more of a Xhaka replacement, as a centre mid or sort of a cam. But I think Mikel Arteta has utilized Havertz's height and wanted him to play a bit more in advance. So he has been our striker since Gabriel Jesus has been injured. And although Havertz does produce, I don't think he's a player that's going to get you 25, 30 goals a season. However, with Victor Gyökeres being the top goal scorer in Europe last year with Sporting Lisbon, bringing in somebody for the price that we paid for. We paid 73 million. I think that's 73 million euros, which accumulates to about 65 million pounds. That is not a bad price for a striker, considering other targets we were looking for, like Benjamin Sesko, who's now at Man City, went for about 80 to 85 million. So getting Gyökeres in for the price that we did, I think it's fantastic business, again, by Andre Berta, who had multiple options, but found that Gyökeres was the one that he wanted. He pushed to me for Arsenal Gyökeres. He posted on his social media. He broke up with his girlfriend in Portugal, and he made this move to Arsenal happen. And it will come. The goals will come. He's a very experienced player. He's a goal threat. He is a machine. He's built like a tank. I just think once we get our sort of squad in balance and we start to play around Gyökeres, once we get our Odegaards back and then Saka playing well and Martinelli or whoever's playing that left wing, whether it's Eze or Trossard, once we start finding sort of a right balance to play with Gyökeres, then I think the goals will start to open up for him and he's going to be more consistent throughout the entire season. Moving on, Christian Mosquera. So centre-back / right-back, Valencia player, we ended up signing him for 17 million, which again, 17 million euros, which is about 15 million pounds, which is mind-blowing to me considering how good this guy is. Now, arguably, Arsenal do have the best defensive partnership in the world with Saliba and Gabriel. But bringing in Mosquera, this guy is unbelievable. Unbelievable by how old this guy is. He is phenomenal. He is strong. He is fast. He reads the game extremely well. He is very comfortable on the ball. He's got great vision. He's able to split the lines and play the ball into our midfielders or strikers, which he's done time and time again. And having Mosquera be that William Saliba replacement when we need him is something that we were lacking last year. And I think that's the reason why we missed out on the Premier League title when Saliba got injured a couple of years ago. And then when Gabriel got injured last season, to the end of last season, we didn't have an out-and-out replacement for our two centre-backs. And I think that's where Andre Berta comes in, and you got to give credit where it's due, because he came in this season, he analyzed where we went wrong last year, and he said to himself that we need defensive defensive recruitments in case Saliba or Gabriel do get injured again. And with Mosquera coming in, if Saliba misses a game due to injury or due to fatigue or he's got a knock, I am very comfortable seeing Mosquera's name in the starting lineup to replace him. So again, congrats to Andre Berta bringing in Mosquera for the price that he did. Noni Madueke. Okay, so this is going to probably divide a lot of you guys now. So I personally am a fan of Noni Madueke. I've always been a fan, especially when he was at Chelsea. I thought he was honestly their best attacking threats when he is on the ball. Now, a lot of people are going to dislike the Madueke signing, and I can understand that. But let me tell you why I think this is a very good signing. So during the start of the season, we ended up losing Bukayo Saka for a couple of weeks, which kind of sucked. And if that happens last season, our replacements for Bukayo Saka would have been Reiss Nelson. Oh, actually, no, Reiss Nelson was on loan. We would have had Ethan Nwaneri, who just broke through the Arsenal squad. He was 17 at the time. Or we would have had somebody else sort of makeshift, whether it was Martinelli going out on the right-hand side or Leandro Trossard. So basically playing our players out of position. Now, Noni Madueke, when you look at this guy play, and when he played for Arsenal during the start of the season while Bukayo Saka was injured, some might argue that he was more impactful than Bukayo Saka. He is so direct, so quick, fantastic feet, left foot, right foot. As a defender, you are almost afraid to get into a one-on-one situation with Madueke, because he can cut in, he can cut out, he can go on his left foot, he can go on his right foot, he can cross, he can shoot, he can just drive at you with pace and power, and it is frightening. I like the signing of Noni Madueke. I'm excited to see more of him in an Arsenal shirt. I mean, I think a lot of people are kind of put off the fact that we didn't buy him from Chelsea. Again, another Chelsea player, and we did pay the fee that we did for him, and it was around about £55 million, 63 million euros, which some might argue is overpriced for a player that's going to be a backup to Bukayo Saka. But when you look at players similar to Madueke that went for the same price, like Anthony Elanga went from Nottingham Forest to Newcastle for around about the same price. And some might argue, I mean, you can compare, like, is Elanga that much better than Noni Madueke, or is Noni Madueke that much better than Bukayo Saka? Personally, that's what the market is at right now. And to have Noni Madueke, who is a experienced Premier League player, be back up to Bukayo Saka, that's where Andre Berta again has cooked, because he has done so well bringing in replacements for our starting team if anyone does get injured. I like the signing of Madueke. I think it's a great bit of business. I'm excited to see more of him. Christian Nørgaard. Okay, so Christian Nørgaard to me was a replacement because we ended up losing both our sort of central defensive midfielders in the summer. We lost Thomas Partey, who went for free, and then the second player we lost as well was Jorginho, who brought experience, he brought composure. He wasn't the quickest, but he was fantastic on the ball and he read the game so well. So two players that went out, and obviously the two players that we did end up bringing in, one of them we'll talk about in a second, but obviously Christian Nørgaard coming in for the replacement of Jorginho, I think is, again, another bit of business that Andre Berta has done very, very well in. He's not exciting, as in he's not going to bring you that sort of like wow factor as some other players bring you. But to pay the price that we did, which is 14 million, I think it was about 12 and a half, maybe 10 million, between 10 and 12 million pounds from Brentford. I mean, he was Brentford's captain, very experienced central defensive mid, been in the Premier League for a couple of years now. He's been consistent, pretty much like played his entire career with Brentford injury free. He knows the Premier League because of how much he has been playing for his former club. And I think Christian Norgard, to me, is a fantastic replacement for Jorginho. He is slightly, I think he's our only player in the Arsenal squad who is above the age of 30. But to replace Jorginho, who was sort of also in his 30s, with a younger 30-year-old, it kind of brings our average age down, but we still keep that experience in Christian Norgard. And then the other central defensive mid that we brought in, who I think will be the signing of the season, is Martin Zubimendi. Now, Martin Zubimendi, for the price that we paid, I mean, 69 million euros, which is about 60 million pounds, 58 to 60 million pounds, is probably what you get in a quality player nowadays playing in that position. When you look at players like Moises Caicedo or Enzo Fernandez or Alex McAllister that went for almost 100 million, some went for over 100 million. What you get with Martin Zubimendi is a starting first team player who played for Real Sociedad for the number of years. He was a starter for the Spain national squad, who won the Euros a few years ago as well. And when you think about the teams that were interested in him, so your Real Madrids, your Liverpools, I think a few other Premier League teams were interested in him as well. And the fact that he turned them down because he only wanted Arsenal, it just shows how much of a project he believed in, especially when he saw Andrea Berta come in and what Mikel Arteta did with the Arsenal squad over the past couple of years. I'm sure some of that has to do with that sort of Spanish flair that Mikel Arteta brings, being able to still play that tiki-taka football while breaking down defenses and then turning defense into attacks. And what Zubimendi brings you is a little bit of everything. He's not the tallest, he's not the fastest, he's possibly not the strongest, but he is very, very smart on the ball. He reads the game so well. I've never seen a player intercept more passes than Martin Zubimendi. And I think this guy is going to be our signing of the summer. I love Zubimendi. I love watching him play. I think he still has a lot to learn, but I think under the right guidance, under Mikel Arteta and the rest of his Arsenal teammates, he will develop into be one of the best central defensive mids in Europe. And then finally, our last signing. I mean, Kepa, another Chelsea player. Again, not an exciting player, but again, what you get with Kepa is experience. He was bought for 5 million. We paid 5 million for a goalkeeper that went for 78 million pounds a couple of years ago by Chelsea. So at one point during his career, he was the most expensive goalkeeper in history, football history. And we got him for 5 million. Experience, fantastic shot stopper, fantastic penalty goalkeeper. Some might argue that he is better than Kepa and better than David Raya, and I agree. I think he is a better penalty stopper than David Raya. So if we ever do get into a situation in Champions League where we need to go into penalties, I'm more comfortable with Kepa being between the sticks than David Raya. He's good on the ball. He's good with his feet. He's good in the air. He's very solid, very vocal. And I think Kepa for 5 million is a fantastic. He might be the world's best backup goalkeeper that's out there right now. So that's my verdict on the Arsenal signings over the summer. Now, when we look at the current Arsenal squad, we see something that we've not had for a while, and that is squad depth. And I think where we lacked last year and the year before and the year before that, coming second, was that when players got injured, we didn't have the squad depth to replace those players. This season, we have seen multiple times that if Bukayo Saka does get injured, we've got Madueke to replace him. If Martin Odegaard gets injured, we have Nwaneri to step in, or Eberechi Eze to come in and fill in for him as well. And then obviously with Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz being out, we've got Gyökeres, we've got Leandro Trossard, we've got Martinelli who can play up front. And it just shows what Andre Berta has done with this Arsenal squad. We have got world-class players in every position. And we have got a world-class bench to back up those players if somebody does get injured. And you look at this Arsenal squad, you look at our depth, and you've got to argue it possibly is the best Arsenal squad that we have had since the Invincibles. It's up there with one of the best teams in the world right now. I think some might argue the only other team that is as good as Arsenal are your PSGs, possibly Barcelona's on their day, your Real Madrids. Liverpool is still always going to be a threat, Man City. Bayern Munich right now are having a fantastic season, but I think every single one of those teams are comfortable to beat with the squad that we have right now. So that's my thoughts on that. We we're obviously coming up to the sort of January transfer window, and you take a look at the Arsenal sort of standings right now, and this is what you want to see. I mean, we've played 8 games. We've played 10 games. We've won 8 of those games. We've drawn 1, which was to Man City, which was a very, very fortunate game where we ended up scoring in the last couple of minutes. But it was a fantastic result. It's a fantastic point to get against City, considering the possession we had, the shots on target we had, and so on. And then the one loss, which was to Liverpool, which was a fantastic free kick, like world-class free kick by Szoboszlai, which I don't think any goalkeeper in the world could have stopped. So 5 wins in a row. Our goal difference is crazy. We have conceded 3 goals all season, which is unbelievable. We are on track to break Chelsea's record, which I think is 15 goals conceded for an entire season. We have conceded 3. The amount of clean sheets that we have kept has been remarkable. I think we're on 8 games now, 8-9 games without conceding a goal. And it is incredible what Mikel Arteta and Andre Berta have built. We have the best defense in the league. We have the best defense in the world. We have world-class centre-backs, world-class fullbacks, world-class midfielders, and squad depth. And that is something that Arsenal have done this season, which I don't think we did for the last couple of years. So where I see Arsenal going over the next couple of months, I think if we get our key players back from injury, we will start to see the return of Kai Havertz. Martin Odegaard should be coming back soon. We keep Bukayo Saka fit. We keep Eze fit as well. Gyökeres starts finding more form as he is scoring more goals. I really do think Arsenal will go on to win. I'm pretty confident that Arsenal will go on to win the league, but I'm also pretty confident that we will go on and at least reach the Champions League final. If not, we will win the Champions League. And I think that's every Arsenal's fan dream right now. And am I being a little bit overconfident? Maybe. But with what I'm seeing right now from this Arsenal squad, you have to agree that it is the best football that we have played in many, many years. And we are very, very difficult to break down. That's my thoughts on this Arsenal squad. That's my thoughts and my predictions for the rest of the season. If you guys do like the video, do me a favor, drop a like, subscribe, all of that stuff. And I'll continue to make more videos for you guys in the future. Have a good one, you guys. Bye.